So, all right, my lovely folks, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to Polity lecture number 1 in this lecture series called Prelims Powerplay 2026. So, as you all know that in this lecture series, we revise everything for your prelims examination. You don't have to worry about your revision portion if you are following this lecture series diligently, properly. Now, you must know this if you have been following this lecture series, that now we have entered phase 2 of our preparation. Okay, phase 1 is complete. And in phase 2, we will start with polity, and that is why today is polity lecture number 1. Now, as I promised to you, that phase 2 would be a little aggressive. Now, what would be that aggression? Okay, what would be the timetable of that aggression? I will discuss that in our WhatsApp groups. By the way, those of you who haven't joined us, well, you can join this lecture series, which will cover everything with respect to your revision for prelims, whether it's static as well as current affairs. To join this lecture series, well, you just have to click on the links given below. Okay, those are the registration links in the comment section. Okay, just below this video. Just click on those links and you can register for this, and that timetable, everything would be shared with you guys. Now, the thing is, I will repeat those 4 steps again, which are very important for revising the entire syllabus so that you are absolutely perfectly ready for prelims examination. Now watch the lecture, step number 1, every day at 9 p.m. This should be your schedule. For notes, you have to memorize all these lectures from the notes. Then you are enrolled in our WhatsApp groups. This is step number 3. Ask your doubts as soon as those doubts occur to you. And step number 4, very important. Along with this lecture series, you are getting access to our test series as well. Be regular with those tests, because without tests, you won't be able to crack prelims. Now, for step number 1, everything is available on YouTube. But for notes, for WhatsApp access, and for the access to test series, you have to register on our app and on our website. The links are given just below. All right. So let's begin today's discussion. And today's discussion is Polity Lecture 1, which is related to Indian citizenship. Now, why we are discussing Indian citizenship? You all must have heard about the controversial Citizenship Amendment Act. Yes, we all have heard about it. This act was enacted in 2019 and it is being challenged in the Supreme Court. There was a lot of controversy. In fact, this act and the protests related to this act even led to Delhi riots, the famous Delhi riots case as well. Nonetheless, we will not focus on the controversial parts. We will just give a summary revision to that. But we will focus on Citizenship Amendment Act and the overall topic of Indian citizenship. The reason why we are discussing it is because recently government announced that the cutoff date for the persecuted minorities which would be given citizenship under this Citizenship Amendment Act, the cutoff date, which was earlier December 31st, 2014, was increased to December 31st, 2024. This increase was done in September 2025, like in last year, September. Okay, that is why the topic of citizenship has come in the news again. So because Citizenship Amendment Act, the rules related to Citizenship Amendment Act have been amended, that is why we are going to discuss Citizenship Amendment Act, but we'll also talk about the overall question of citizenship in India, the constitutional provisions related to that, various laws related to that. Like I said in the beginning, we are just not going to focus on current affairs. We will cover the associated static topics as well, so that everything is covered for your prelims examination. Okay, so this is our topic of the day, Indian citizenship. So let's straight away jump into the lecture. All right, so polity lecture number 1, and that is Indian citizenship. Okay, now why this citizenship topic was in the news, I have explained this to you, but let's talk about it again, okay, so that you would get a good clarity of this entire issue. So why was this in the news? So in September of 2025, the Ministry of Home Affairs extended the cutoff date under Citizenship Amendment Act to December 31st, 2024. Earlier, the cutoff date was 2014, 31st December 2014. Okay, this has been recently increased. Now, this Citizenship Amendment Act basically allows or basically fast tracks the acquisition of citizenship to persecuted minorities in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Okay, so all the persecuted minorities in these 3 countries, if they want to migrate to India and acquire Indian citizenship, well, the process has been fast-tracked, quickened in Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay, now this Citizenship Amendment Act was applicable earlier to migrants who came before 31st December 2014. So any persecuted minority who migrated to India from these three countries after 2014, well, they won't be covered under this act. Their citizenship won't be fast-tracked. That is why there was this huge uproar that, well, their rights are also important, those who came later. So that is why government has increased the cutoff date to 2024. Okay. So allowing persecuted minorities, which includes Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jain, Christians, Parsis, all these persecuted religious minorities. Remember, minorities can be, the word minority can be used for any identity. Okay. Linguistic minorities is a category. Religious minorities is also a category. So this particular law applies to religious minorities. No other identity is covered under this, in this. Okay, remember this fact. Okay, to stay in India without valid documents. This order issued under, remember, this order to increase the cutoff date was issued under Immigration and Foreigners Act. It exempts Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis and Christians who entered India by the new deadline due to religious persecution from immigration penalties. Okay, basically, even if they have entered India without valid legal documents, their citizenship would be fast-tracked. That's what the law says. That's what these rules say. Okay. Originally set at December 31st, 2014, the extension provides relief to post-2014 arrivals, especially Pakistani Hindus, following appeals from refugee groups. Okay, so this topic was in the news. And because this was in the news, all the associated static topics with respect to this news should be our focus. Because UPSC tends to ask questions not directly from the current affairs, but areas surrounding that particular topic in current affairs. Okay. Therefore, we will focus on the entire topic of citizenship. Okay, so let's talk about citizenship. Now, citizenship or acquiring Indian citizenship, first let's talk about constitutional provisions related to that. Okay, what does our constitution says? So part 2 of Indian Constitution, Article 5 to Article 11, remember this is part of your static portion, outlines citizenship provisions at the Constitution's commencement and empowers Parliament to regulate it thereafter via laws like Citizenship Act. So remember this part. Article 5 to 11, what do these articles do? So basically, these articles solve the question of citizenship just at the commencement of the Constitution. Now, our Constitution commenced on 26th Jan 1950, right? So at this moment, well, what are the rules and regulations? What are the provisions with respect to acquiring Indian citizenship? That is taken care of by the Constitution. Remember this part. So these provisions take care of the fact that what would be the rules surrounding citizenship at the commencement of the Constitution. And these articles make it clear that after the commencement of the Constitution, all questions related to citizenship shall be decided by a law made by Parliament. So remember this fact. Constitutional provisions with respect to citizenship take care of only citizenship during the commencement of the Constitution. After that, the authority was given to the Parliament, and Parliament actually made a law on it. That law was Citizenship Act 1955. Okay, so currently, now in India, citizenship is handled by this law. Make sense? But let's take a look at the provisions. Okay. So these are the articles. This table is shared in your notes. Do memorize this table. Okay. So Article 5 deals with commencement, citizenship at commencement of the Constitution. Article 6 deals with rights of Pakistani migrants. Many migrants who did not want to stay in Pakistan came to India. Article 6 deals with that. Article 7 deals with Pakistan migrants to Pakistan, not citizens. Basically deals with those people who left India to Pakistan but want to come back. Okay. Article 8 deals with persons of Indian origin. Well, those who were born abroad, but their parents or grandparents were Indians, people of Indian origin. Article 9 deals with no Indian citizenship if voluntary acquiring citizenship. Basically, it deals with the fact that you won't get Indian citizenship if you acquire any foreign citizenship. So if you have taken the citizenship of UK, USA, Australia, your Indian citizenship automatically expires. This is a constitutional provision. And it is because of this Article 9, it is clear that India does not allow for dual citizenship. Remember this fact. It is clear from Article 9. India does not allow dual citizenship. There are many countries that allow dual citizenship. Pakistan allows dual citizenship. There are many Pakistani citizens who are Pakistani citizens as well as British citizens. USA allows dual citizenship. Spain allows dual citizenship. Many countries do, but not India. India says that you can either be a citizen of India or abroad. There is no such thing as dual citizenship. Then Article 10 deals with continuation of citizenship under constitutional provisions. Basically, Article 10 gives the authority and Article 11 gives the authority to Parliament to regulate the question of citizenship. So continuation of citizenship under constitutional provisions subject to Parliament laws. But basically, if the question is there that which article of the Parliament which article of the Constitution authorizes the Parliament to regulate citizenship, it's Article 11. Parliament's power to regulate citizenship acquisition, termination, and related matters by law. Okay, and to exercise that power, Parliament enacted this law. These articles establish single citizenship. So first of all, these articles establish that there will be no dual citizenship. And in some countries, like in USA, you have two citizenships. You have a national citizenship and the citizenship of your state. So if you're from California, then you will have a Californian citizenship as well as American citizenship. Okay? There is no such thing in India. There is Indian citizenship, states do not matter. State citizenship does not matter. These articles establish single citizenship, no state level, and transitional rules post 1950. Okay, and it authorizes the Parliament also. Now, Parliament basically exercised this power and enacted Citizenship Act 1955. Based on Citizenship Act, well, in India, you can acquire Indian citizenship through these 5 ways. These are the modes of acquisition of citizenship. Okay, now, as per Citizenship Act, Section 3 covers citizenship of India by birth, okay, by descent. By descent means that you were not born in India, but your parents were Indian citizens. So by descent, you get Indian citizenship. Then by registration, okay, you were not born in India, you were UK citizen, but now you want to acquire Indian citizenship. You're an Indian, but you want to acquire Indian citizenship, okay. Persons of Indian origin, you have to live in India for 7 years. You are overseas citizen of India card holder. Then you are a child who was born in USA, but your parents were Indian citizens, okay, and you got US citizenship, but now you want to get Indian citizenship. This is there. Plus, you're a British citizen married to an Indian citizen, okay. These categories of people will acquire Indian citizenship through registration. Now, what is the procedure? This is given in Section 5. And then, you're neither born in India, nor you're of Indian descent. You are not married to any Indian citizen. You're an Australian or you're a British, white British person, okay? But you want Indian citizenship. Then the process for you is naturalization. So all foreigners can acquire Indian citizenship, but there is a detailed process, okay? You have to live in India, of good character, all these things are there. Now, this category of acquisition of citizenship is called naturalization and it is covered under Section 6. So these are the 4 ways of acquiring Indian citizenship. And the 5th way is incorporation of territory. Tomorrow, if India acquires a new territory, people of that area would get Indian citizenship through this 5th mode. This happened in the case of Sikkim. Sikkim became a part of India in 1975 and Sikkim people became Indian citizens through this 5th way. Okay? Citizenship Act 1955 outlines 5 primary modes of acquiring Indian citizenship by birth, descent, registration, naturalization, and incorporation of territory. Now, this Citizenship Act 1955 also explains how you would lose your Indian citizenship. So there are 3 ways through which you can lose your Indian citizenship, and these 3 ways are mentioned in this law. Okay, what are these 3 ways? Number 1, renunciation, covered under Section 8. You voluntarily give up your citizenship. Then termination, automatic upon voluntarily acquiring foreign citizenship. So renunciation covers that you have given up your Indian citizenship. Termination, you acquired foreign citizenship, so your Indian citizenship automatically terminates. And deprivation, this is that you're not giving up Indian citizenship. You have not acquired foreign citizenship. You don't want to lose your Indian citizenship. But Government of India will deprive you of your Indian citizenship if you have broken any law, if it was found that you acquired Indian citizenship by giving fraudulent documents during naturalization or registration, okay, or you helped the enemy. If there is an Indian citizen who helped the enemy during a war, government can take away their citizenship. So if you violate a law, okay, you gave fraudulent documents for getting citizenship, all these things, if found out, government can take away your citizenship, and that mode will be called deprivation. Okay, now this fact we have already covered. India prohibits dual citizenship. Make sense? All right. Though we have just covered these tables in brief, but they are given in your notes in detail. Read each and every word of these notes or these tables. Okay, they are given in your notes. Remember, memorize each and every word. It's very important. They can ask a question on citizenship because citizenship has been a hot topic this year. Sorry, previous year, 2025. Okay, so make sure you remember these static topics as well. All right. Now let's quickly shift our focus to a very small topic, and that is what rules and regulations, what laws regulate citizenship in India. Okay, so laws and rules. First of all, citizenship in India is covered by Indian Constitution. Second, there is Citizenship Act 1955, though it has been amended many times in 1984, in 2002, and the latest amendment was 2019. That is why it is known as Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. Okay. Then under this act, well, under every act, Government of India is authorized to notify rules. So under Citizenship Act, there are rules called Citizenship Rules 2009. Okay. And under Citizenship Amendment Act, there were Citizenship Amendment Rules 2019. Basically, the recent September action of the government, okay, whereby it increased the cutoff date. The government actually amended these CAA rules 2019. In these CAA rules, it was 2014, government increased it to 2024. And then there is another law called Passports Act 1967, because under this Passports Act 1967, well, what the government has said is that passport is a valid legal document proving your citizenship. Okay, it's a proof of your citizenship, and once you lose your citizenship, you lose your passport as well. Okay, so that is why we associate Passports Act with citizenship in India. So remember, these are the four things which provide the legal architecture for citizenship in India. Make sense? Okay, all right. Now let's talk about the superstar of the day, the hot topic of this lecture, and that is the reason why we are discussing citizenship. And that is Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, the controversial Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, which led to many protests in Delhi, even led to Delhi riots, and there are many petitions also in the Supreme Court. Now, why many people have challenged this law? We'll talk about this. First, you need to understand what is this law about. Okay, so let's talk about Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. So what is this? What was the main purpose of amending Citizenship Act? So CAA amends Citizenship Act to provide accelerated citizenship. You see, if you want to acquire Indian citizenship via registration or naturalization, okay, the process is very long, tedious, and there is a lot of paperwork that is required, and government checks all your documents, right? Now, there were certain people from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from Afghanistan, who were persecuted on the basis of their religion. Okay. Now, because they were being persecuted in their place, they had to run away from those places and they migrated to India. Now, most of them even migrated to India without proper visa, without proper valid legal documents. Okay. And the reason why they migrated to India, because they were persecuted over there. Right. Now, they said that, well, they also have the right to get Indian citizenship. They couldn't migrate to India way back in 1947. Now they have found the time to migrate in India. So as per the promise that India is a safe land for anyone any religious minority in the entire Indian subcontinent, well, you should fulfill this promise and give us citizenship. So for these persecuted religious minorities, remember, religious word is important. Persecuted religious minorities, this law was enacted, and under this law, well, these people, these illegal or legal migrants to India, will get citizenship in a fast track way. Okay, quickly. The process would be simplified. Okay, the rules would be made lenient, and there is no requirement for valid legal documents as well. Okay, now as you all know that Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan are majority Muslim countries. So religious minorities in those countries would be non-Muslims, right? So all non-Muslims from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan are covered under this law. So eligible communities, Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis, Christians who entered India on or before December 31st, 2024. Now this, as you all know, has been recently increased. Okay, earlier it was 2014. Now, what are the requirements for naturalization and registration? They're pretty tough. But for these people, requirements are relaxed. Reduces residency from 11 to 5 years. For naturalizing process, the process of naturalization requires minimum compulsory residence in India for 11 years. You have to be a resident of India for 11 years. Not for them. It's 5 years. For naturalization registration. In fact, by amending Citizenship Act, well, this CAA basically inserted a new provision, new section in Citizenship Act. It was section 6B. Okay, it exempts from illegal migrant penalties. So anyone who is an illegal migrant to India, there are penalties, document requirements, and language proficiency also. Language proficiency requirements are also done away with. In India, if you want to acquire citizenship via registration or naturalization, you need to know any Indian language. That is not required in this case. Exceptions? Yes, there are exceptions as well. It excludes tribal areas under 6th schedule. So if you have migrated to any tribal area under 6th schedule, okay, you won't be given citizenship because tribals in those areas are very hostile towards outsiders. They are saying, you all know about this, the entire Assam issue. So migrants to these areas are excluded, which includes Meghalaya, Mizoram, Tripura, and inner line permit states like Manipur, Nagaland. Okay, so these are the exceptions. Tribal areas are the exceptions. Otherwise, if you have migrated to any part of India, you would be covered under this. Now, this law was challenged. Now, what were the challenges faced by this law? Okay, there are over 200 petitions in the Supreme Court. And what is the basis of these petitions? Well, they say that this law violates Article 14. Article 14 is right to equality. This law says that you are violating right to equality because you are excluding Muslims. Any law in India cannot do religious discrimination. Okay, and if you do, well, that is violation of right to equality. Now, the answer to this question was that, well, we are helping persecuted people. Okay, so if we are helping persecuted people, why are you bringing up right to equality? Then the counter argument to this is that, well, persecuted people are some Muslim sects as well, like Ahmadiyas are persecuted in Pakistan. Rohingyas were persecuted in Myanmar. Why are you not allowing them? Okay, you are specifically excluding Muslims. This was the argument. So the counter to this counter argument was that non-Muslims in these three countries are discriminated against, persecuted based on their religion. Okay, so there was back and forth in this case. Nonetheless, this law was passed. Okay. Now, this is the Article 14 challenge to this law. Another challenge was Assam Accord. You know, Assam people were also unhappy with Bangladeshi migration after 1971 war. And there were a lot of protests. So Government of India, Government of Assam basically promised to Assamese people that any migrant to Assam after 1971 won't be given citizenship. Any illegal migrant after 1971 to Assam. So the cutoff date for Assam is 1971. Under CAA, it's 2024. So there is this conflict with Assam Accord also. So this is another provision. Okay. By the way, there are a few key facts that you have to remember from CAA. These are, well, Section B, it was basically not a new law, an amendment to a previous law. Okay. Then relaxed residency requirements, Residency period also relaxed, and exempting them from proving no illegal entry. You don't have to prove that you have come to India legally. Even if you're an illegal migrant, well, you have been given some relaxation. Okay, remember these points. Clear? And that would be all. With that, we conclude today's session. So that's it from my side, guys. I hope this lecture added value to your preparation. In fact, I don't hope, I'm sure it has added value to your preparation if you follow these 4 steps. Watch the lecture diligently, memorize everything that is given in your notes, ask your doubts as soon as they occur to you in our WhatsApp groups. You are in those WhatsApp groups. And please be regular with the tests. MCQ practice, test practice is extremely important for clearing prelims. No matter how much knowledge you have, if you haven't practiced MCQs, you won't clear this exam. So be regular with the tests. And on that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another topic in this lecture series called Prelims Powerplay. Thank you, everyone.